Welcome to Automate Your Agency. Every week, we bring you expert insights, practical tips, and success stories that will help you streamline your business operations and boost your growth. Let's get started on your journey to more efficient and scalable operations. All right, Micah. So, one thing that I've been really thinking about lately from watching you and what you've been doing is I know, right? How important it is for owners to experiment and have fun and play around with new things and be curious. And
Yeah.
I've been seeing you play around with two different things with AI, and they're completely unrelated to each other. But they're both having to do with AI, and you're leveraging what you're learning on both of those things to help you with the other one. And it's going like we're creating a client portal system using AI, working with ClickUp, and it's incredible. And it was just from you playing around.
Yeah. Yeah. So to kind of give context to what Elaine is saying, I haven't developed, I have a background in development, but I haven't actively developed anything for, I don't know, 5, 6 years. And for good reason. But one of the things that I keep seeing is how good AI is at helping with creating, new apps and different things like that. So I'm like, well, we're an AI and automation agency. I want to know what this is like firsthand. I don't want to hire somebody to tell me what it's like. I want to give this a try myself. So that was my first kind of like pet project. And I learned so much in developing that project that I went, wait a second, now I have a lot better understanding, not only how AI can support developers, but also how AI can work in general, the nuances between all this technical stuff, right? I don't want to bore everybody that's listening on that kind of stuff. But as you're saying, Elaine, I then took that knowledge that was in the back of my mind and said, wait a second, there's this question that we've been getting from almost every B2B company that we work with, which is how do I get a client portal that will leverage my existing project management system, that will allow my clients to comment, but not see the comments that we're doing internally and allow them to submit new requests and assets?
Hmm.
And everything just like came together after, just kind of playing around with these different things that I was building because all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second, we can build it quickly. We can iterate really quickly. We can solve these problems. We can do these integrations. We can leverage AI to take this batch of data, this project data, and do stuff with it. And we turn that into, like you said, a client portal system that can sit on top of tools like ClickUp and soon to be Asana and Monday.
Yeah. And Micah, I'm just going to share with our audience something personal about you is that when Micah says he has a development background, he taught himself how to program when he was 13 years old because he wanted to be a video game programmer. It's not, he did not go to college for it. He has taught himself and can teach himself how to program. I've seen him do it in 2 days on a new language. And so Micah is just an incredible person when it comes to that. I don't have that talent. I can do other things, but teaching myself how to develop and using AI to help code is not my skill set.
Yeah, I find it enjoyable.
So from this, now we've got this amazing client portal that we're piloting right now for ourselves to use and our clients to use. And it all stemmed from you just playing around. Like, and I see that happening a lot in our company on both sides, whether it's you or me playing around with something. And we did it in our previous business. And this part is so important because if you don't take the time to play and to be curious and to let your mind just go somewhere else for your company, that you're keeping yourself possibly from growing. You can do the same
Mhm.
thing for different clients. You can have these repeatable things, but you might hit a roof of what you can sell at that point. How do you improve what you're selling? How do you make it better? This is incorporating essentially what's going to be a SaaS product for us, so software as a service, and be another revenue model for us. Something that and help make clients stickier, because they might not need our services anymore, but they could use our client portal with their clients ongoing.
Well, and so years ago, we have another really key example of this. Actually, we throughout this company's journey, we do. We started this company by focusing on Asana, ClickUp and Monday and operations. And then we basically just played with
Mhm.
Zapier, which we knew, and then we got into like Make, which was really starting to make some headway years ago. And
Mhm.
so just by spending a couple days experimenting with what can we do in Make? How is it different than Zapier? And really just pausing and saying, I'm going to dedicate some time to this. That's what it
Mhm.
took.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I remember that afternoon, I walked out of my office. I was like, holy shit, guys, we're on to something here. We have a whole new opportunity to combine what we can do with Make with what we're already doing with the Sonic ClickUp and Monday. And it changed the direction of the business positively.
Mhm. Mhm.
Same thing with AI. As AI came around, it's like, okay, we need to play around with this to figure out how we're going to leverage it because we can do so much with AI. We can't say we're everything in AI. We're very specific things in AI. And so the only way to figure that out is to just experiment.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, as a business owner, sometimes that does mean in the evenings or the weekends, which I do not like to promote a lot because I do think we all need a break. We can't be working all the time. But when you are managing your team and you're maybe involved in clients and sales and all the many things that we do as business owners, that sometimes that does mean playing and being curious after your work day. And don't let yourself be burnt out. I do not want to advocate for you sitting every day after work, but having if something's like, that sounds interesting, that kind of sounds fun, is making the time at some point to play around. And this is why I think I call it play, is because it's something that you're curious about that is fun. That's what makes it not work. And so I feel like that is more hobbying and playing around with things and playing with your curiosity rather than let me be in the grind. Now, if
Mhm.
you do that every day, it doesn't become play anymore. Then it becomes the grind. And so there's definitely a piece to where, what I like is once you get it to a certain point, and then we train the team and they can take it from there, that you're not having to continue. And that's part of our service and what our team provides. Or we have a software developer that we hire that's a part of the development team, that it doesn't stay, once we say, "Hey, I think this has some legs," I'll take it and start selling it so we don't build forever. We get some sales and then it becomes something else. And that way it's not just you all the time building, and that you
Yeah.
have time then to stay curious and play with other things. That's how we
Well,
started
and
adding the sales automation piece too.
yep. Yep. That's what I was just going to say, Elaine, is,
Oh.
we're talking about it from kind of a technical side to it, but really you do the same thing in your own way.
Mhm.
And even before we jump into that, you mentioned us training the team and sharing with the team. I watch the team do similar things,
Mm.
right? Because they end up playing like a bunch of games of what if. Like,
Mhm.
what if we do this? Or what if it could do that? Or can it do this? Or could we do that? And they kind of go off on these little explorations and then come back from their adventure and tell us about it and are like, hey, what about thinking about doing it this way? Or what if we used it this way? And
Mhm.
and even, this does kind of piggyback, but this client portal solution, like I show you what I've built, then you experiment with it and go down your little adventure on it, Elaine. And then you're like,
Mhm.
well, what about this? And then that brings up other ideas on how to improve it just because it's a new perspective and being able to see it.
Can't remember what book it was that I read, and I was trying to think of it when you were talking. And when we're kids, we're constantly saying, "What if?" And young kids, they come up with the craziest stuff, and you're like, "That would never happen." But this idea of what if, I get really impatient. I'm like, "No, that doesn't even ridiculous." But we do it as adults and we downplay the what if game, when we really need to be doing the opposite, is playing into this what if game. What if we got 400 clients on this client portal? What if I did this and that changed how we onboard? What if? And it's really is that's part of the play and the adventure that we need to be doing in our day. And we learned it as kids. And then we're like, okay, that's dumb. We shouldn't be doing that anymore. We're going to just stick with what the plan is. And we need to be asking what if.
I mean, between our parents and schools and teachers, the what if game gets shut down pretty hard.
Yeah. So we're going to start really making a play for bringing what if back and doing it in your in your own way. But it that is the fun part, and what I like about being a business owner is being able to play that game and be curious, because if I didn't have that, then it is too much of a grind, and it does feel like you're an employee in your business. You want to be a business owner in your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And asking those questions, another example just popped into my head. Our move from Asana to ClickUp. So we used Asana for our previous business. This business, we use ClickUp. And we played the what if game. What if we could manage this in a different way using slightly different features and a different platform? That what if game really paid off for us.
Mhm. I mean, definitely. So, if you're if you're thinking about new things, and that can be playing around with technology, but that could also be designing something differently. What if I
Hmm.
didn't design this PDF the same way I do every time, and instead I tried it this way, and you got it in front of clients? Maybe that increases their longevity with you. It doesn't have to be this tech side of things. It can be anything in your business. You started your business for a reason, about something that you were curious about initially and saw that you could make money at it. And what are those interests for you? Play into that. Like, I don't want to go and teach myself how to develop with AI, but I like playing around with things on the sales and marketing side in different ways, whether that's in Canva or creating a neighborhood guide, automation thing, or something like that. And so it can be what you're curious about, not what we're curious about.
Absolutely.
So make time to ask what if, play around, and be curious. And I would love to hear what you are doing as our audience on making time for play.